Welcome to the Health on Track podcast. Let's talk well-being.
Welcome to the Health on Track podcast, offering you a shot of wellness. I'm Yasmin, and I'm the Member Engagement and Communications Manager at GIG Gulf Insurance. For today's episode, we'll be talking about gratitude and mindfulness. They are both powerful practices that help us live more fully in the present moment and appreciate the richness of our lives. Mindfulness, on one hand, trains us to be aware of our thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment, grounding us in the here and now. Together, they can improve mental well-being and deepen our connection to ourselves. Our speaker today is Shruti Verma, a licensed mental health counselor, expressive arts-based therapist, and mindfulness coach, and a passionate well-being entrepreneur. With over 9 years of experience in working with individuals and organizations in prioritizing wellness, she is also the founder of Wellness Curators Singapore and the Mindful Lab Dubai, a movement that strives towards building a community of individuals committed to holistic wellness. She believes that wellness is a state of complete harmony of the mind, body, and spirit, and takes a personalized approach to assisting her clients on their path to holistic wellness. Thank you so much for being here today, Shruti.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start by explaining, what's the relationship between gratitude and mindfulness?
That's a very interesting question. There can't be mindfulness without gratitude and gratitude without mindfulness. Let's put it that way. They're interlinked. So mindfulness is like a preparation ground for gratitude because, like you said, it's being present in the present moment. And only when we are present in the present moment, we can be more aware of what's around us and be grateful for it and not miss out in acknowledging the small or the big things that we can be grateful for.
So how does it impact us on a daily basis to be more grateful and more mindful?
Well, there's a whole lot of science behind being grateful. But let's just go back a little when we were kids and at school. We were made to do a prayer before having our meals. At least back in India, that was a ritual. And grateful for little things, the birds that sing, the food that we eat. And if you look at kids, they're the most carefree and happy people to be around, right? And they're also very mindful because they are focused in the present moment. They're not bothered about what's going to happen in the future, what's going to happen, what's happened in the past. They're very present. So we can take that as an example and see what a child looks like: happy, carefree, and just whole, right?
Yeah.
So that's what gratitude and mindfulness can do to you in a very layman term. But scientifically, gratitude or inculcating a practice of gratitude increases serotonin and dopamine, which is the feel-good hormone. And that's what we all need.
So what are some ways that people can start practicing gratitude and mindfulness in their daily lives?
You don't need to go anywhere, to be honest. You just, first of all, just need to be present in the present moment. And that's become so hard these days because we're bombarded with information, right? Even if I don't want to, I have information always pouring in to my system. So really just taking that step to connect with what we are doing in the present moment. So for example, I'm talking to you. I'm fully present here, right?
Yeah.
I'm not thinking what happened in the morning, or I'm not thinking what's going to happen in the evening. Just being present. So you basically just bring that sense of awareness in the activity that you're engaged in. So something as simple as brushing your teeth in the morning, not doing that in a haste. Spending about a minute to just brush your teeth and be with that activity. Be fully present in your body. That's what you can do for mindfulness. And for gratitude, again, something very simple: have a gratitude journal. At the end of the day, sit down and write 2 things that you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things, big achievements, but something as small as, I had a great lunch today, or the weather was perfect today, or, I was thinking about a friend and the friend called. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, this is easier said than done, because what you're saying about brushing your teeth, like me, for example, when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm also doing my coffee. I'm not,
Hmm.
I'm not just brushing my teeth. I'm like, okay, walking around the house, going
Hmm.
to the kitchen, preparing my coffee, and then I go back, and then so
So
something.
maybe for you, brushing your teeth is not your mindful activity.
No,
Having
not
a
at
cup
all.
of coffee could be.
Yeah, probably.
So once you're done brushing your teeth, multitasking, which is brushing your teeth and making your coffee, perhaps you can sit down with your cup of coffee and just be with that activity.
So what you're saying is we should just find one activity,
Yes.
and then try to do that with
Fully.
mindfulness.
Yes. With awareness that if I'm having coffee, I'm just going to have coffee for the next 2-3 minutes. Right?
Okay.
It could be any activity actually that also
enjoy.
brings you a sense of joy, that makes it easier. So I love having coffee. So I have once a week, I go for mindful coffee evening just by myself. And I love going to the cafes or exploring cafes because there's so many in Dubai, right?
Yeah.
So just go sit there for half an hour, get a cup of coffee, and just enjoy my cup of coffee. But like you said, it's easier said than done. But mindfulness, in other words, is awareness, right? Just being aware that I need to do this for myself, because it's kind of a pause in the busy world or the busy lives that we are living.
Yeah.
And it's very important for our mental health and our overall sense of well-being. So any activity, you could pick anything, whatever you like, but then just fully be with that activity for those many moments.
Yep. Sounds reasonable. You mentioned that it impacts mental health and our mental well-being. Can you tell us more about that?
So again, mindfulness, it's a very powerful tool. There's a lot of research. John Kabat-Zinn is somebody who founded mindfulness, and it's been researched a lot to prevent people from going in relapsing into depression. And if it becomes a way of life for people, because these days everybody has stress, everybody has some sort of anxiety in their lives, and mindfulness, when becomes a way of life, it can be a preventive mental health care tool. So it can prevent you from reaching a point where there is probably a need for diagnosis like depression or severe anxiety. So it can prevent that. But if somebody has already reached that point and they're on their road to recovery and they've recovered, let's say 50%, it can prevent in relapsing as well.
Yeah, I think mindfulness now in general is being recommended for a lot of different say challenges. So even with someone who's struggling with weight loss, and they would always say like mindful eating, so
Yes.
that while you're eating, you're not distracted by, let's say, TV or talking with someone, and then you're more aware of what you're eating. You're more aware of when you're full, when you're not full, and then it helps you to be healthier.
Yeah. It's everywhere, especially in the West, even in the corporate sector. Mindful leadership is a big thing. So when a leader is mindful, he's more in tune with his team members, right? What they need, what they want. There's more empathy.
Yeah.
And that's what sometimes is lacking in big corporates, because you have deadlines to meet, you have targets to meet, and the humanness kind of gets fizzled out.
Yeah.
But that's what it brings back. And more than anything, it develops an insight into you, in you, that instead of reacting, you start responding. And that brings about a lot of change, in your relationships. And we are surrounded with relationships, be it at work, be it at home. So it brings a lot of change there, how you relate to others, because you become less reactive, you respond more. Of course, when you sit down to do the formal practices that are there and which are meditative in nature, And I'd like to talk about that also, that a lot of people have that misconception, right, about meditation. So we'll come to that. But it brings about focus. It increases productivity. It reduces stress. It reduces burnout, prevents burnout rather. And of course, I've talked about depression and anxiety, how it's used quite a lot, especially in the West.
Yeah. You mentioned that it impacts our relationship with others. Can you tell us like something that you've witnessed with your clients or someone that you could really like they were struggling with their relationships, and when they started practicing mindfulness, they were able to improve it?
So very recently, I had a couple come in for some support because they were having some issues in their marriage.
Yeah.
And I worked with the husband separately and gave him these tools of mindfulness. Because, men also have that thing that, oh, I'm working, I'm providing, I have so much, and they just go in that zone of, that never ending sort of thought process that I'm the one who's doing it. And that's where mindfulness helped. It brought that pause in that narrative. And he was able to see when he was relating to his wife in the conversations that, he was just going on an autopilot and not really listening to what she was saying and what is it that she really wanted. So over, I would say, 3 months' time while he was practicing, and he went to a point where he got all three of them, that is the husband, the wife, and the son, to start doing one of the mindfulness practice every night before they went to bed.
Interesting. I never thought of it as I've thought of how mindfulness can help you not react, say if you're facing a problem at work or with a colleague or something, but I never thought that it could also like even help with personal relationships or marriages or something.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Because eventually it's about two individuals. If they are hyper aroused, they're too caught up in their thoughts, they're not going to be present in the relationship, right? They're going to be present here in their minds. And what's really happening in the relationship, they won't be able to see it. So you basically, with mindfulness, you take a step back, you bring a gap in between. It's like a pause button. And then you're actually able to see what's really happening. And when you're able to actually see what's happening right now, half of the job is done. You can fix the relationship then.
Yeah, because everybody's caught up in their own I don't know, their own experiences, their own thoughts. They're not seeing the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the most important thing that mindfulness over a period of time, helps you develop is empathy.
Yeah.
It just starts to show up naturally.
Yep. Very interesting.
And that's very important for any relationship, right?
Agreed. Marriage or otherwise.
All relationships.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked a bit about how it can support an anxiety and depression, but can we maybe give us some tools or some practices that those suffering with anxiety or depression can physically do? Like you mentioned, journaling. But what else can they do?
So one of the very simple mindfulness tool and a beginner's sort of exercise is engaging with your 5 senses. So 5 things that you can see.
Okay.
Right? You spot 5 things that you can see. You take note of that. 4 things that you can hear. 3 things that you can probably feel. So I can feel this. I can feel my own clothes or anything, right? 2 things that you can probably smell. And even the absence of any smell is something, you're still smelling something, right? And last is 1 thing that you can taste or recall the taste that you had in the last meal.
Okay.
So it's called the five senses mindfulness practice. And it just takes about a minute or two. And it really grounds you in your own body by connecting with your five senses.
So would you recommend that someone does this like every day, maybe in the evenings or in the mornings?
This is something that you can do when somebody's, rushing, is overwhelmed. You can feel anxiety catching up, like, the usual anxiety that we have that, oh, you know what, I'm getting late. And you're sitting in the car, you're on your way. Maybe if somebody's driving you, it's easier. But if you are driving, please don't do this. But once you reach your destination, you can take a minute and just ground yourself by doing this. So what's happening is that you're, again, the pause. I love the word pause. I'm actually doing a program which is called the Pause Protocol.
Nice name.
Yeah. So you can that actually brings that pause, and then you just enter into whatever you have to do with immense amount of presence.
So if someone is like rushing or feeling overwhelmed or something, they can
do this to
pause
ground,
and do this exercise
to ground themselves.
Okay, great. Do you find that practicing mindfulness affects sleep?
Oh, big time. It has a huge impact. So there's a practice called the body scan, and which also has a bit of similarity to yoga nidra in the yoga school of thought. And I had a client working with the big four odd hours because he was working with US, he was in the East, and couldn't sleep. And that's I would say, one of the pandemics right now. It's not talked about as much as COVID, but we all know, right? A lot of people struggle with sleep. So body scan is one of the practices that I have seen with my clients, and otherwise also research also talks about it, that it helps assist in improving your sleep and the quality of your sleep, and so some people are not able to fall asleep. So that helps in, easing them into relaxation mode, and hence they're able to sleep faster than what they usually would be struggling with at night.
So can you tell us how to do this exercise?
So there are quite a lot of resources online. But if you had to start on your own, and if you were looking at sleep, so when you go to bed, first thing first, put your phones away, right? So I recommend my clients that if you are even looking for, using the online resources, try and put it on an iPad or another device, but not your phone. So, but if you had to do it yourself, of course, you need to be guided once or twice, but it's as simple as starting with your toe and you just move upward. You basically scan your body from head to toe and back.
But there isn't like, you don't move.
No, you don't move. So I think you're referring to something else that's called a progressive muscle relaxation.
Could be.
Yeah, where you tense your body and then you release.
Yes.
Yeah, that's called the progressive muscle relaxation. Body scan is nothing but you just lie down. You don't need to tense your muscles. You lie down, especially, make your environment comfortable, cozy, and you start with the soles of your feet, and you move slowly through your toes. You're just observing each and every body part, starting from your feet, going upward to the top of your head, and again going back.
Okay.
Part by part. And what happens is that you may realize or you may feel that, there are certain areas where you're holding more tension and it may become very prominent for you. And that's when the mindfulness part comes in, acknowledging and being aware of what's there in my body. Because again, in this busyness of life, we are not connected with our bodies. Our mind and our body is not connected. And that's why we feel so much of tension, tightness, anxiety, if I may call it, the usual anxiety, not the clinical one, stress, because we are not connected. Our mind and our body is not connected.
Yeah.
So it's a good practice to bring yourself home, be in touch with your body, acknowledge it for whatever it does for you, day in and day out. And while you do that, you feel a sense of relaxation and it helps you ease into sleep.
I'll try it tonight.
Please do. Maybe another good resource to try is the Calm application. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've seen ads.
There's Calm, there's Headspace. These are the two that I recommend. You can try that. You can try the body scan. You can try a shorter version and then experiment with longer version. And that's the beauty of mindfulness. There's no right or wrong. You really do what feels right to you in that moment. If you feel like doing a 5 minutes exercise, do that. If you feel like doing a 30 seconds, do it. The idea is to do it, right? There's no right or wrong. It's awareing the awareness.
Yeah. So just find what works for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So since we're all very busy these days, how can someone maintain to these practices? Like, for example, we spoke about having the coffee and doing it mindfully, but sometimes that's just hard to maintain, especially if we're talking like daily. It's
if you'll ask me, I think it's the easiest thing to do.
Oh,
because the things that we do on regular basis, they're already set in our minds as rituals. So you just top those rituals up with mindfulness. And you really don't need to do anything, right? You just need to bring yourself to do the same thing that you do day in and day out with awareness.
okay.
So you top it up with your daily rituals. For one of my clients, what really worked was, she was a lot into self-care, beauty. So I told her that when you go to bed and you apply moisturizer on your body, right, before going to bed, or on your hands, just do it mindfully. Just be present with what you're doing. So and it goes back to what we said, you pick up something that you're already doing, you already have an affinity towards, not something that you don't want to do. Then it's going to be hard. There's going to be resistance. So you do something that you already like doing, but just with more presence. That's it.
Okay. That makes it a bit easier. You're right. Okay, so since we have you here, can we do a mindful exercise together?
For sure.
Okay, great.
I love doing it.
I need it. Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
So I'll invite you to close your eyes.
Okay.
If your hands are crossed, you can uncross them and put it on either on your thighs or on the table in front of you, whatever feels right. Just make sure your back is erect, not strained. There's some gentleness. And we'll just slowly take our attention to our breath. Whenever I say take your attention to the breath, there is a natural tendency of the mind to manipulate the breath. Don't do that. Try not to do that. Just observe your breaths as is. Observe the inhalation and the exhalation. Is your inhalation longer than your exhalation or vice versa? Just observe the nature of your breath in this present moment. And now very gently taking the attention to the soles of your feet, noticing how it's coming in contact with the surface beneath it. Gradually taking your attention upward and noticing all the touch points between your body and the surface beneath you. In this case, it's a chair. Notice all those places where your body is coming in contact with the chair. Your back, your thighs. And now very gently observing and acknowledging the sounds in this room. Observing yourself seated here in this room as if you were seeing yourself from the outside. And as we come to the close of the practice, once again, noticing your breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes.
Wow.
How did that feel?
Amazing.
And it's just 3 minutes.
Felt longer. Yeah. And when you were saying like, notice your muscles, notice your feet, you're like, I could notice that, oh, I'm clenching my legs, I'm clenching my arms, my shoulders. So I was able to just like take an action to physically relax.
Release, yeah.
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 Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
Any other tips you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, what I mentioned in between, there's this misconception about the word mindfulness.
Yeah.
The minute you say mindfulness,
People roll their eyes.
imagine that it's, sitting down, closing your eyes for hours, but that's not what it is. There are those formal practices, but those practices are, they can be tweaked based on what suits you. Mindfulness is more than just a practice. It's a way of life. So once you know that, this is a way of life, to be present, that's when you start doing little things like brushing your teeth, driving your car with mindfulness. And it's these small changes that make the bigger difference versus doing the bigger stuff. You need to do the bigger stuff. And for that, I think another way of inculcating it is to join some groups that practice mindfulness together, because being a part of that community makes a lot of difference. Then it also becomes easier to apply it in your life and see it as a way of life.
Yeah. Yeah, great advice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shruti, for this. It's been very relaxing and enlightening.
Thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be here. So that's going to go into my gratitude journal tonight.
I'm grateful to have met you.
Thank you.
Thank you. To all our listeners, we hope you enjoyed that exercise and that you're a bit more relaxed like I am. And we hope that this is a way for you to start practicing gratitude and mindfulness in your daily lives. And please share this episode with your friends and family so they can also do the same. We're available on YouTube video and music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anghami, and Amazon Music. Stay well and keep thriving.